Hello, and welcome to another Orca3D video tutorial. In this video, we'll be discussing Orca's section capabilities and how to use them. First, let's go over some of the ways we can use sections in Orca. Sections can help users design their hull. This starts in the Rhino model space, where sections can be overlaid onto the hull to visualize shape and fairness. And sections are real-time in Orca, which means they will stay updated as we adjust the hull shape. These sections can also be used to automatically generate lines plans. These lines plans will also stay up to date with any changes to your hull. There are also a few section-specific hydrostatic calculations. Now, most of Orca's hydrostatics are based on 3D surfaces, not 2D sections. But if the user wants to calculate certain values such as sectional area curves, the prismatic coefficient, or the max section coefficient, they need to define sections on their model. Let's start by bringing up the section manager. Go to the Orca3D menu button in the menu bar. Click Hull Design, then click Define Sections. Now, select the geometry that you want to section. This can be an Orca3D design, but it doesn't have to be. It could be any Rhino geometry, like this collection of surfaces. Once you've selected your geometry, right-click or press Enter to bring up the section manager. There's a lot going on here in the manager, so let's start by focusing on adding a new section. We'll find what we need in the definition frame. Our section type is set to Station. This can be changed to buttock, waterline, diagonal, incline, or cant. But for now, we'll stick to stations. We can add stations by listing their locations in the box labeled List Locations. Click Add to add the stations to the section list. If we click Preview, we can view our section planes right on the model. The List Locations box uses Rhino world coordinates, so how these sections are placed relative to your vessel depends on how your vessel is oriented. Let's look at two identical ships with different orientations. The first has its forward end at 0, with the positive x-axis running aft. The other has its aft perpendicular at 0, with the positive x-axis running forward. When we add stations by location, they appear differently on these two models. That's because ordinates in the box are with respect to 0 being the Rhino world origin, with positive locations going along the positive direction of the appropriate axis. For stations, that's along the longitudinal axis. You can set Orca's longitudinal axis in Orca Document Properties. Make sure that your model aligns with this setting. Let's look at some other ways to add sections. Instead of listing locations, we can click Select Locations and select the locations of our sections directly on the Rhino model. For a more automated approach, sections can be added by spacing or by number. Let's use the spacing option to add 3 more stations, spaced 10 meters apart. We also enter a start and an end location. Let's try that in a different way. If we check both the spacing and number boxes, we can use a spacing, a start location, and then set a number of sections to add instead of an end location. Finally, we can add stations by number alone, using a start and end location. We can use this function to say, add 21 stations between forward and aft perpendiculars. Let's say we have some geometry that was left out of our original sections, like this bulwark. Adding it in is easy. To change which objects are included in the sections, click the button labeled Add/Remove Objects. Update the selection, then right-click or press Enter. We can see the section planes have extended upward to include the bulwark. Once we've added them, our stations will appear in the section list viewer on the right side of the window. The sections are organized according to their type: stations, waterlines, etc. Each type folder has a checkbox to toggle all sections of that type on and off. We can toggle individual sections with their own checkbox. Right-click to remove, preview, or recolor a section. Orca version 3 adds a new feature: multiple independent collections for sections, called section lists. In previous versions, all sections were stored together in one global list, and all sections were plugged into every part of the program where sections are used. In version 3, users have the ability to split their sections up, modify each list independently, and to use different lists in different parts of the program. More on that in a moment. To create a new list, click the New button. To switch between lists, use the drop-down box labeled Section List Name. We can rename the current list by typing in this drop-down box. And to delete a list, switch to the target section list, then click Delete. The last drop-down box changes which parts of the program the current list applies to. Finally, at the bottom of the manager, we can change how our sections are organized in the Rhino Layers tab. In the Layers tab, we find the Orca3D layer, with a dedicated sublayer for sections. By default, each section type is given its own layer within the Sections layer. This means that all stations can be found in the Station layer, all waterlines in the Waterlines layer, etc. Back in the Section Manager, we have some options for organization. The option labeled Each Section in its Own Layer does exactly what it says. Each individual section will now appear in its own layer, named according to the prefix found here, and the location along the appropriate axis. When we press OK, we can see the layers reorganizing themselves according to our earlier selections in the manager. No matter which way you organize them, sections are a powerful tool in Orca, and hopefully you feel a little more comfortable with them now. Thanks for watching, and check out the Orca3D channel for more how-to videos. Got more questions? Get more answers with the help resources in the description.